Okay, in this video I'm going to try and show you quickly a good overview of what Autosoft is all about. Now, as you may have guessed for the name, auto means automotive and soft is software. Now, it's designed specifically for people who do stuff to cars, trucks, buses, anything that's pretty much got an engine, wheels, whether you're making components, you're selling parts, you're repairing the things. If you're working in the auto industry, then there's a good chance that the Autosoft software has got something which has got quite a bit to offer you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through and show you a few bits and pieces. So of course the workshop area, let's start there. There's a booking diary. Now the booking diary is fantastic. It allows you to take bookings over the phone and you can just punch the information in here. Now it gives you a good breakdown of all the vehicles which you've got booked in for the day, who owns them, and details of the work that's going to be performed on them. Once the details are in the booking diary there's a thing called the Job Control Center. Now the Job Control Center complements the booking diary. This is designed more for your service advisors and the people who are managing the shop. What it does is on any given day, it lets you see which jobs are actually booked in and the status of the work. Now if I flick through a few days here, I can see on the 5th of March what the status is. We've got all these jobs booked in. These are the people looking after them. These are the people who own the cars, and this tells me what the status is of the job. Now I can do some cool things here. I can print reports so I can manage the shop for the day. I can also SMS the customers directly and let them know where the status is of their vehicle. Now when you've got bookings and jobs running, of course you need to have what's known as a job card. Pretty basic stuff, but having a system that looks after that for you, not always the easiest thing to come by. This here is a typical repair order from the system. It shows us that we've been working on, who owns the car, and most important, it shows us details of the work that's to be performed. Now let's just chuck this onto screen and we'll do a quick screen view of what this looks like. This is a document that the software prepares. What it does is it gives you details of who the customer is and the car, details of the work that you're going to have performed. It also gives the client a place to sign off to say they authorize it. What you then do is you can record in here the instructions for the mechanic who can go and perform the work. You can also give them details of parts and consumables that they may need to put on the job also. The idea is that you pretty much collate up here all the information that you need to give to your mechanic so he can go and perform the work on the vehicle. When the work's done, what we simply do is we indicate that the work is complete. Having that set to complete there allows us to print this off as an invoice for the customer. Same screen, it's all done in the same spot, which makes it really easy for your operators to get the feel of how to actually utilize this thing. Here is a sample of what the tax invoice looks like, prepared for a customer. It's got your logo and your letterhead at the top here, details of the customer, the vehicle, and the work that's been performed. Now it's slightly different to the work instructions, which are your internal document. This is the external document that goes out to your customer. It includes all the things on there that you need to know, such as subtotal of the work, the GST, the grand total that's to be paid. You can even put your own customized footer on the bottom here. Might be thank you for using the garage, might be banking details, it can be anything that you want, additional terms and conditions, you name it. You might also be interested in looking at how many hours you guys are spending on particular jobs. Autosoft can take care of that for you as well. If you look at the repair order here again, we can basically identify with the time clock which mechanics are working on the vehicles and for how long. On this particular job, David, he worked on this job in 2 individual allotments, 2 hours and then 0.4 of an hour. Now this sort of information is gathered on all the jobs that take place in the shop. So if we have a look at this one here, click on the hours tab again, we can see that Robert worked on this for 2.3 hours. Now what's really good is that information collates together and we get a full report which we can get about how the mechanics have actually gone. Now this is called Mechanic Performance Report and it can be run over any given date period. What it does is it shows you every mechanic every job is clocked onto and whether you are able to charge everything that he worked. If we look at Corey here, we can see he worked 94 hours, but we only charged 51. Now that's okay because Corey's one of our apprentices. But if we look at some of our other guys who aren't the apprentices, who we're wanting to get a better return from their time on, we can analyse that here. We can see with this fella, we've got 76 versus 73. Not bad, able to charge most of his time. If we look at the last page here, we can see these little graphs that show us hours worked and hours charged. So we can basically see the performance of each of the individual mechanics. Going back and looking at those numbers again, you can see we get the cost and the gross profit. So we can actually see the profit that each of our mechanics has made for us in the shop. Not bad, hey? Want to know more about how the shop's gone? We can look at the workshop sales breakup. Now this is another fantastic report that gives us really rich information about how the actual workshop's gone. Now you remember we've been raising all those invoices for customers, we've been putting labour, we're putting parts on those jobs, putting consumables and sublets. Now this report consolidates that all together, chucks it into the one report and lets you see on a day-by-day basis, or by job if you like, how much individual profit you've been able to turn on every single job. It also gives you a gross profit percentage, so you can just scan through, look for the ones that are either high or low, and go and do a bit more investigation if you need to. The grand totals of the report can allow you to do a quick calculation and reconciliation of how you've gone in your workshop altogether. Now that's all pretty cool stuff, but tell us, what does it do in regards to the parts and the inventory? Well, depends if you're a parts seller, like a parts store, or a repairer, you're still selling parts. Either you're selling them onto a job or you're selling them directly across the counter. Some of you guys may do both. Now the software can handle that. What's important is it's got a really good strong inventory system behind it. What it does, it allows you to store thousands upon thousands of parts. This one's got over 6,000 individual products in it at the moment, and I'll just pull one of these up and show you. So let's just scroll through and we're going to look at this here. This is a nut flange, and it shows us here basically that it's a stock item, how many we've got on hand, and what the cost is of these items. Fantastic information. It also gives us details about pricing, and if we've got multiple stores, we can see how many of these we've got in each location. The query, packed full of information again, lets us see how many of these we've sold and who we've sold them to. Not bad, that's pretty powerful information. So if it's a high value item that you're looking at, such as a part like this, which sells for over $1,000 and costs us $751, we might want to drill down and have a look at who that actually was sold to and where it came from. And we can see here that we bought it from SMG Auto and it was sold to Allianz Insurance on an insurance job. Not bad. A double click here lets us see again the actual job that glass was sold onto. Now we can see all of the details, the car, the date, everything. If there's a problem with that job for whatever reason, double click, we can bang back in there. We've got to go back to the supplier of the glass and claim warranty or something. We can see the exact creditor invoice it was purchased on, the date, when it was paid, everything you need, all from the inventory system. Now that's pretty good stuff. Now having said that, what if we're actually selling parts over the counter? Well, I'm glad you're interested in that, because what we've got is a complete invoice view here dedicated specifically just for selling parts over the counter. Let's pull up one of the ones we've done in the past and have a look. So once again, it's customer this time, and then product, just customer product notes. They're the things that you really need. So what you can do is, I'll just reprint this one onto the screen and show you, you can actually prepare a tax invoice just for your product. This one's a cash sale one, so it's come out on a docket. Let me go back and show you another. So what we get is a tax invoice that's dedicated specifically for a parts invoice. Now we can see here that we've got letterhead, customer details, and the part, and once again any details we want to have about the footer, fully customizable. You can put all that in there. So it handles buying stuff and selling stuff. What about things like the creditor invoices and that? Well, it does that as well. You can basically put all of your creditor invoices here into the system. There's a full database of all the suppliers that you buy from. So you can pretty much keep track of all of the transactions that you do for each of the suppliers. So if they're sending you a bill, you got to put the bill somewhere, you can enter it into the system here. That's a creditor invoice entry here, shows you basically how you can add all your transactions for buying stuff into the software. And once again, it has all the things from a reporting point of view, so you can see how much you owe and who you owe it to. Running a simple debtor creditor trial balance will show us where we currently stand. That's the creditors for the end of Feb. The picture it paints looks something like this. This is a list of all the suppliers and the amounts we owe and the aging in which we owe them. We can run that report the other way and we can see who owes us money. There's dedicated views in there for receiving money from customers, and there's dedicated views for paying the suppliers. Now all this accounting information feeds somewhere. It feeds into what's called the general ledger. Now this is real accounting stuff. It's a true double entry general ledger system which sits behind the software. Now the good thing is you don't need to be some accounting expert in order to drive this, because the functions that are performed by the system pretty much drive it for you. As you do something like sell a part, it goes and collects all of the information when you're selling the part in lay terms and pushes it back into the software, and the software turns it into accounting terms. So it records all these things for you. Like it lets you see here your bank transactions are all recorded into the special bank general ledger account. We can see here for the bank account, here's all of the transactions listed. Now really handy are the accounting reports. You can do things like a balance sheet and a profit and loss. You can let the system generate pretty much most of this in the background. Of course, it doesn't eliminate the need for your accountant or your bookkeeper, but it does make the process simpler for them, and it systemizes things in a way that an automotive workshop or repairer or parts provider needs it to be done. Takes all the confusion away and just leaves you with the essential things that you need to be able to prepare your financial information for your business. There's also a profit and loss statement, the type you can wait months and months for your external accountant. You can have yourself at your fingertips. All you got to do is keep up to date with putting in the information. Selling things out, buying things in. Selling things out, buying things in. Just record it in the software with the processes that are provided, and you're going to end up with really rich information just like this. When it comes to the end of the quarter and you've got to do your BAS, it's not heartache anymore, because the system's done all that for you as well. As you've put things in and out of the system, bought things, sold things, bought things, sold things, those totals are being calculated in the background by the software for you. It will produce you all the information you need to go and do your BAS return. So rather than sitting down with spreadsheets, messing around with other software packages, sending us stuff off to your accountant, it's just a push of a button, just like I did there, and you've got your GST information for the given period. Now there's also all the other things you'd expect from an accounting package / workshop inventory and management system, things like banking for bank reconciliations, deposits, till reconciliations. All the things that you need should be in here. We've taken all the noise and confusion away, and we've narrowed it down to a concise, very proficient system which is designed specifically for people in the automotive industry.